Hey, so I was just thinking tonight, we're about one night away from going back to Boston to get a checkup for Amelia and probably get one more helmet. And I'm feeling anxious and nervous and all of the things that I'm sure you can imagine moms would feel. And I thought it would be important for me to take a minute tonight. I know that all of you know, obviously, that Amelia was diagnosed with craniosynostosis and that she had to have a surgery, etc., and she's wearing a helmet. But one of the things I think I wasn't really open with, only because it happened so fast, was exactly how it happened and how we found out that she had it, and how we were so lucky that we had the opportunity to choose a minimally invasive endoscopic approach for her surgery. So I wanted to share the very beginning of her story so that anybody, God forbid, would find themselves in a situation where a doctor is giving them kind of the wait and see approach, that they would know what to do and know to act fast. Because truthfully, early detection and early diagnosis is the best, because it gives the parents all the options that you deserve and that you should have. So her story kind of goes like this. So she was, born totally normal pregnancy, great delivery. She came out and essentially her one eye was, the lid was just really closed. Like she barely could open it. Her eyeball itself was fine. We had several pediatricians check her even before I left the hospital, because we were really concerned about it. And everyone was a little bit befuddled. And I delivered at West Penn. And I had a fabulous experience with both kids. But that pediatrician that saw her, he was great. And he said, he felt that it was a little bit of a facial palsy, caused by just placement in the womb, that, that it would open in time. But if it didn't, that of course we would have to look into doing something for it, perhaps surgery for the eye. But he did recommend that we go and go to an ophthalmologist. So we went to an ophthalmologist. She was dilated at probably 4 weeks. And again, this was a little bit of a string of bad luck between, the hospital missing it, and then the ophthalmologist actually should have caught it too. Dilated her, said the eyeball's great, everything will be okay, yada, yada, yada. And over time, the eye did start opening a little bit more. But essentially what her pediatrician, Dr. Yost at Children's Community Pediatrics, thank you to Michelle Hughes for that recommendation, essentially what she noticed was that this was at her 2-month appointment. She noticed that her soft spot in the middle here was closing, and that she kind of had this classic curve to her nose a little bit, and that the one side of the face was smushed up. So she said, we're going to wait 1 month. And she said, she was like, I don't want to scare you, but, there is a condition that would need surgical correction that I'm a little concerned that she has. But maybe it might just be a helmet. So, of course I left that day thinking, oh, it's just going to be a helmet if worst case. And of course I didn't like that idea, but I was like, okay, we can handle that. And at her 3-month appointment, she essentially just took one look at her skull, and it was hard because she has so much hair, but she was running her fingers through her head and the whole nine. And I remember she just said, you've got to go see a craniofacial specialist. So I called down to Children's, and they originally wanted me to wait 6 weeks or something to see them. And I was like, hell no. I was like, I need to be in, as soon as you can. My doctor said I have to be in right away. So this was a Friday that Dr. Yost said that she might have this, and she did at that point say craniosynostosis, and Tony and I were like, we didn't even know how to pronounce that. And she did say that, surgery is most often needed to correct it if she has it. So we went down to Children's they ended up getting us in on Monday because I threw a little bit of a fit, as any good mom would. They got us in on Monday, and we went down and we saw Dr. Losi, and he is the craniofacial specialist, plastic surgeon down at Children's. He's phenomenal. He has all sorts of awards. I think he won best doctor in his practice 3 years in a row in the United States. I mean, he's phenomenal. He took one look at her and he said, no doubt in my mind, that's what she has. I'm going to order a CT scan. He said, but do not mistake me. I know what she has. This is craniosynostosis. She has the coronal suture is fused. It looks like it's not open at all. So essentially that's the suture that runs here and here, and her one side was closed. And he said, oh yeah, no big deal. And I remember that day he, of course this was we'd only heard about this for 4 days. He told us, yep, the way we treat that is we'll wait till she's about 18 months. We'll cut her ear to ear. She'll be in surgery for 8 hours. She'll be in the ICU for 4 days, 3 days, blood transfusion, hospital for the week, and then she'll go home and be fine. So as you can imagine, Tony and I are like, he was so sure, he was so confident. And we were like, we went home that day looking at our 3-month-old baby and just felt like this, I just had this like feeling in the pit of my stomach, like this cannot be the only option. Like she's so teeny. And then furthermore, I couldn't imagine waiting till she was 18 months to have this surgery. And I knew that, my life would just be on hold this whole time waiting for my sweet baby girl to have her freaking head cut open. So anyway, at that point, I started researching a lot. I reached back out to Dr. Yost. And by the way, the reason why she was so aggressive about it and so aware of it was because her nephew had the big open surgery, ear to ear. He had it done in Washington, D.C. So that's why she was so aware of it. But, after I researched a little more, I ran into CAPS Kids, which is an organization, and Cranial Care Bears, and they have a lot of advocates. So I was back and forth with an advocate, literally online via email. She was phenomenal. She told me, Kaylin, she is a prime candidate, but you've got to get this surgery now for the minimally invasive. You have the option for this. Well, lo and behold, they don't offer it in Pittsburgh. Long story short, we got connected with Dr. Proctor, who is one of the best doctors, one of the best surgeons for this particular surgery in the country. And that's how it happened. That's why we went that route. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure that in case anyone, needed that information, that I shared it. So I hope no one's ever in that boat, but I thought it was an important part to share with you.